Olá pessoal, bem-vindos a mais um vídeo do Lost Judgment. Aqui que fala o amigo João Pedro. Nosso episódio examinamos a cena do crime. E agora temos que ir com o Yuno à estação onde o Ehara foi apanhado a violar a mulher, ou o que é que foi?
Okay, see that sign? Ehara was leaning on that before the incident. Yep, just like that. He was standing around searching for a victim. Ehara's the man in the cap and sunglasses.
Olha, é ele?
So, Ehara was lingering at the platform.
Yeah, this was confirmed after that.
He spent...
Yeah.
And the security...
That's right. Anyhow.
She's the one in the pink cardigan and white skirt?
Yeah. The two of them show up on the train's interior cam as well. According to the victim's statement, Ehara began by rubbing her posterior with the back of his hand. But it didn't stop there. After that, he put his hand up her skirt.
Pretty sickening.
I'm assuming he targeted someone shy, thinking she wouldn't resist. Makes me angry just thinking about it. The victim stated she was too scared to call for help, meaning she endured this for 6 minutes until the train reached its stop in Shinjuku.
Can you send what you just showed me to my phone?
Sure. Now let's head to Shinjuku Station. Then we can watch as the jerk gets busted. Even if we did defend him in court, an asshole's still an asshole. Looks like we're getting close to Shinjuku.
The train's pretty light right now, but it was packed during the crime, right?
Oh yeah, the car occupancy at that time of day can easily reach 180%.
And Ehara should have been standing roughly where I am. Hey. Suspicious. Hey. Suspicious. Hey.
Ehara and Mamiya-san both exited the train and got onto the platform here. But right before that, Mamiya-san suddenly grabbed Ehara's wrist and yanked his hand out from under her skirt. That's when she got a good look at her assailant.
So without a doubt, she saw it was him.
Espera aí pessoal, agora que percebi. O outro que era a polícia. O chegou a professora. O Ehara que era a polícia, esquece.
Anyway, after being grabbed, Ehara wrenched himself free and took off at a sprint. See, here he gets off the train and bolts across the platform. And Mamiya-san chases after him, asking people around her for help.
Ah, this is what they kept looping on TV.
Yeah. And honestly, with all this evidentiary footage, defending him in court was a lost cause.
Was there any security footage that wasn't aired on TV?
Sure, take a look around you. There's more than just one camera pointed at us. They're practically everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
As for what I... Oh, right. I have a diagram of the platform to show you.
So Ihara gets off the train here, and then gets apprehended here. How far is that?
Roughly 100 meters. Both he and the victim were weaving their way through the crowd.
Ele foi a
The
correr.
whole scene was very chaotic.
Ele
Even
podia ter
after
escapado
Ihara
por
was
aqui
caught, the train was
por
stalled
estas
20
escadas.
minutes until the area was deemed safe.
Hey, you think we could get the positions of all these cameras and where they're pointing penciled in?
Good idea. That's where he got. I can mock it up.
What the? Hey.
Ele passou por aqui, literalmente, para... Ele seguiu aqui. Ele seguiu aqui para o poderem acusar.
What the?
Mas porquê? Seguiu por aqui para as câmaras o apanhar quando podia ter suído aqui e fugia.
Hey.
Looks like we checked all the nearby cameras. Let's go up a little further now.
Que era para o acusarem de assédio sexual. Certeza. Agora, o porquê? Escape. Vamos ver o outro lado.
What the? Suspicious.
Outra.
Suspicious. What the?
Looks like we checked all the nearby cameras. Let's move on.
Mas eu podia ter passado aqui, subir as escadas e escapava, mas porquê? Tipo, deixou que as câmaras o vissem.
Suspicious.
Só vejo onde é que está. Ah, está aqui.
What the?
Que restam as outras.
Suspicious.
Esta já está. Arrasta. Isto aqui.
Hey,
Está à vista. Aqui.
what the?
Okay, looks like we got all the cameras. Our diagram is now complete. Now we'll pencil in the camera locations and what directions they're pointing.
Parece que ele. Mas deixou-se apanhar.
Hey. Suspicious. Hey. What the? Hey. Hey. What the?
So this was the general situation when Ahara committed his crime. What do you think, Yagami-san? Anything of note?
Do you think Ahara and Mamiya-san were riding the train pretty frequently?
Oh yeah, Mamiya-san commuted by train. She was here every weekday. Same goes for Ahara, actually, but he was off that day. Supposedly, he was going to see his wife, even though they're separated.
Did he ever say why he wandered around the platform for an hour?
He said the thought of his wife had him flustered, and he couldn't force himself to board the train. He always had an excuse ready for anything you asked him, including the harassment charges. He pled not guilty, but the evidence said otherwise. There wasn't a single argument we could make in court to establish reasonable doubt.
Safe to say he did it. But on the same day, he knew his son's bully would be murdered in Ijincho. Pretty clear it wasn't a spontaneous need to grab some ass.
I agree. It's almost like all the commotion around the harassment might have been planned out. Maybe everything was, even down to getting captured.
Yeah. He really played everyone by turning harassment into an alibi for murder. No matter how much evidence points to him as a killer, he can deny it with complete immunity.
This is getting crazier by the minute.
At the very least, he had something to do with it. Some connection. But I can't imagine he'll talk. Whatever his plan is, it's pretty clear Ihara is committed.
To what? Getting revenge for his son?
I think so.
Who do you think his accomplices could be? Ihara's a veteran cop. Think maybe he knows how to hire an actual assassin?
Yeah.
If so, he could have just paid for his revenge, right?
Sure. But assassins cost an arm and a leg. He wasn't rich before all this, was he?
No. He barely scraped up enough to cover his lawsuit against the school.
Thought so.
Shirosaki.
What's up, Sari-san?
I'm scheduling an interview with Ahara tomorrow at the Tokyo Detention Center. We'll take a taxi from Genda's if that all works for you.
Sounds good, but I need to head back to Ijincho for now.
Something you forgot to do?
Yeah, it involves Ahara's motive, which would be without a doubt his son's. So I want to confirm if Mikoshiba really bullied the kid.
All right, then I'll let you get to it.
Cool, then I'll see you tomorrow.
Será que ela está na escola? Ah, boas! Espera em casa ela. Isto é ruim na escola. Ela está na escola, cara.
Got a minute?
No, not for you. I really have nothing more to say.
What if I told you it's looking more and more likely Ihara-san had a hand in Mikoshiba's death?
Well, it doesn't concern me.
Ihara-san believes Mikoshiba tormented Toshiro-kun so badly that he took his own life. But neither the third-party investigation nor the courts were on his side. So what's the truth here? You know, don't you? What really happened between Mikoshiba and Toshiro-kun? Why won't you tell me the truth?
Why do you keep asking? I said I don't know.
Sabes,
I'm
tu não
going
queres é
to the
dizer.
detention center tomorrow to get some answers out of Ihara-san.
What?
I saw where Mikoshiba was murdered. He endured no shortage of cruelty before he died. They tortured him, you know. They broke all his fingers before they slit his throat.
No.
And somehow Ihara-san knew Mikoshima had been killed on the day he got caught for groping. It's like he did it to prove he had nothing to do with the murder. But maybe that wasn't his real objective at all.
Huh?
I think he wanted to signal that he'd finally avenged his son.
The body belongs to a guy named Hiro Mikoshiba. 4 years ago, this man took my son from me by driving him to commit suicide.
If I'm gonna face him tomorrow, can't go in without some ammunition. So, 4 years ago, did Mikoshiba bully Toshiro-kun or not? That's all I want to know.
My answer won't change. There's no evidence Mikoshiba-kun did anything wrong.
Are you sure about that? Take a look at this.
That's...
Toshiro Ihara, your
O que é que
student.
tinhas a ver com ele? Diz lá.
Imagine that he's listening to what you're saying now. If you can look at him and say Mikoshiba played no part in his death, I'll leave you alone. In fact, you'll never hear a word from me again. So which is it?
Qual é o caso? Diz lá.
"4 years ago, not long after I'd transferred here to teach English. That's when it started. I was trying my best to get acclimated, and I was finally on a first-name basis with everyone. One day, after school, I was out on the roof taking a break, when Toshiro-kun suddenly ran by. I called out to him to ask what was wrong, but he shushed me and kept running. I saw he had a bloody nose. Moments later, Mikoshiba-kun showed up. He was looking for him. I told him I hadn't seen him. Toshiro-kun's face told me everything I needed to know.
So Mikoshiba was bullying him after all.
Yes,
Mikoshiba não era assim tão bonzinho como a gente pensava.
whenever he'd leave school with Mikoshiba-kun and his friends, they'd force him to hand over money. At first, they'd try to pass it off as a joke. They said since he lowered the class average on tests, he ought to buy them all drinks as an apology. And Mikoshiba-kun, he was having too much fun with it to stop. He started offering tutoring sessions to Toshiro-kun, only so he and his crew could extract their tuition from him. They'd even break into his house while his mother was at work and take the money she left him for dinner. And if he couldn't pay, they'd beat him up at school or make him grovel in the bathroom.
Didn't anybody see what was really happening?
The teachers either saw nothing or turned a blind eye. Few students knew about it, though. Anyway, I ended up relaying everything Toshiro-kun had told me to those boys' homeroom teacher. Mind you, this teacher had tenure, title, and years of experience under his belt. Do you know what he told me? He said not to cause a commotion because those boys were about to graduate.
Why does that not surprise me?
To be honest, it was hard to paint such an outwardly model student in a negative light. There was also no hard evidence to support Toshiro-kun's story. But someone still should have stepped in to help. If only I'd understood that at the time.
You tried.
The only thing I tried was to keep an eye out for him, making sure he wasn't alone, things like that. But unfortunately, that wasn't good enough. On the first morning of the 3rd trimester, Toshiro-kun tied a towel to his doorknob and hung himself in his room.
And that's when you confronted Mikoshiba, right? You asked him point blank if he'd bullied him.
I did. Mikoshiba-kun pretended to know nothing. He was more careful, shaken even, from then on. In all honesty, when I heard a third-party committee was investigating, I was hoping the truth would come out. Students were asked to fill out an anonymous questionnaire, and many of them wrote down exactly what they saw.
Hold on. Didn't the court end up declaring there was no substantial evidence of bullying? How could they have said that with those questionnaires on him?
First of all, the committee never interviewed anyone directly. Those questionnaires were the only proof of anything. And the teacher of those boys was the one who collected them. Each time he came across any mention of bullying, he'd toss that questionnaire out. Also, he wouldn't get blamed in the end for ignoring the warning signs.
So then the committee was pointless.
A few students did speak up about the bullying online, but their posts weren't much to go on. Toshiro-kun's parents were completely caught off guard. His mother worked through the day, and his father lived all the way in Tokyo. That made it that much easier for the teacher to cover up all the evidence of bullying. He made that statement without even consulting the principal or the chairman. So, right before Mikoshiba-kun graduated, the committee presented their findings, that there was no evidence of bullying. The conclusion you've heard over and over.
What the hell?
Oh, coitado.
In Japan,
Tadinhos.
300 children commit suicide every year, across all grades. Less than 3% are
O Japão
proven
tem
to be
problemas
linked to bullying.
sérios com suicídio, é verdade.
Toshiro-kun's case ended up like that too. But Ehara-san wasn't satisfied with those findings, so he sued Seiryo High, demanding compensation for Toshiro-kun's death. As the trial dragged on, I was eventually called to the witness stand. Of course, my intention was to let everything I knew out into the open. But before that could happen, that damn teacher came with the school's attorney to see how I would testify.
They didn't want you making them look bad, huh?
Of course not. That's when I first learned what he did with those incriminating questionnaires. They had no choice but to reveal everything to me, to try and sway me to their side. I guess they were just that desperate. After all, I was the only adult who Toshiro-kun confided in. I don't think he'd spoken to his parents about it once. So yes, that's why there was no really objective evidence of bullying. It wasn't like I had a mind to record our conversations. And I hadn't personally witnessed it either. The school attorney saw fit to remind me that the law says innocent until proven guilty. And if I couldn't produce tangible evidence, then I shouldn't be accusing Mikoshiba-kun.
So it was witness tampering. That is, they coerced you into false testimony?
Yes.
Must have been incredibly hard on you.
What I should have done was told the truth regardless. But what else could I have really done for him? Some days I just don't know. As much as I've tried to convince myself I did everything I could for him, I can never fully believe it.
So what happened to the teacher who covered all this up?
He transferred to another school. God, to think he's still standing at a podium somewhere.
That's unfortunate.
Even so, I don't have the right to place the blame solely on him.
Maybe, but in that case, Mikoshiba's bullying of Toshiro, or those questionnaires getting discarded. Have you ever told anyone else?
No. I've been silent. Yagami-san, you know what? Back when I was a student in high school, I witnessed bullying firsthand. There was this kid. My classmates pushed him too far. And one day he just jumped off the roof.
Off the roof?
By some miracle, he survived the fall. And he's been in a coma for the last 13 years. Nobody knows if he'll ever wake up. His name is Mitsuru, and he may never open his eyes to the world again. His mom watches him, but she works full-time. She's a higher-up in the government.
I'm sorry to hear it.
The worst part is that his teacher knew. He even talked to the bullies about it. But all
Como
he said
sempre.
was,
Nunca fazem nada.
do it. But afterward, the public eviscerated him. He had to quit his teaching job. And yet, for poor Toshiro-kun, nobody was held responsible at all. And that includes me.
But if anyone was going to take responsibility for that, Mikoshiba should have been first in line. I'm sure Ihara-san must have thought the same thing.
You know what I wanted to be as a kid? I was so innocent, I wanted to be a teacher. And after Mitsuru-kun's tragedy, I felt practically obligated. And still, I just let history repeat itself.
Ora, vamos lá falar com o Ehara. Vamos até à agência do Segura Irichumo. Dormimos e depois no próximo dia vamos lá interrogar o tipo. Coitada. A miúda também se tentou suicidar e acabou por ficar em coma, mas pronto. Isto é o que faz a gente fazer queixa e nunca fazerem nada, pessoal. É. Este para são subidas as escadas, pá. Foi agora. Um cão? Acho que sim.
This way, huh? Got something? Doing great. Got something?
Caso secundário, não interessa.
I'm doing great. Got something? This way, huh? Got something? Doing great. This way, huh?
Deve ser.
Excuse me.
Ah, já sei que casa é isto. Eu lembro-me disto.
Hey. No way.
Yakuza.
Hey.
Vamos passar esta parte à frente, pessoal. A sala? Olha, olha! Agora o com dela.
Seriously?
Yagami-san!
Nope.
It can't be. Yes.
Huh?
Mas é quanto tempo é que a gente ainda tem? 41 minutos. Chegamos lá e depois paramos o vídeo, pessoal. Olha, mais uns contos a querer festa.
Really, guys? What is going on? Having a party?
Que cocô?
Hey, welcome back. Care for a drink, Yagami-san?
Heads up.
I'm back home. Not that you haven't already.
Who, me? Well, whatever do you mean?
Koana's fine. He just swung by to have a chat with you, man. Not that I mind hanging out over beers and shogi.
Kaito's a gentleman and a scholar. I like your style.
What do you want with me?
Check it out, Yagami-san. You're only here to get to the bottom of that Hiro Mikoshiba kid's murder, right? That's gotta be the reason the Yokohama Liumang attacked you, isn't it? All I'm saying is that you've gotta cut me in, man.
Thanks, but I've got enough help.
So some hotshot detective strolls into town and tries to leave the local guy out in the cold? No offense, but that's not gonna fly.
You gonna play your turn? Just finish your game and go home already.
When you benefit from someone who knows the scene? You know, I can get you anywhere in a Jincho above or below ground.
Aren't you expensive?
I'll give you a first-time customer price. I'm not about to sit here and let some outsider swoop in and take all the credit alone. And that means I guess I'm gonna chill here until you give me the nod.
It's Tsukumo and Sugiura's place as far as I'm concerned. Not even my call to make.
I welcome having more company. The more the merrier. That'll be the agency motto.
I don't really care.
Such a nice office. I'm gonna love it here.
Yagamishi, guess what? The internet picked up on the Ihara link to Mikoshiba. The trending sentiment is that he killed him in an act of vengeance for his son.
They've already figured that part out?
See for yourself. Here, check it out.
Já está nas redes sociais,
Son
né?
of a bitch student teacher should burn in hell for bullying a kid all the way to suicide. Mikoshiba was a damn psychopath. Ehara is the vigilante groper. And that's not even the trolls.
So the news is blowing up on the net, huh?
In internet terms, this is only the first spark that could ignite into a fire. Not even what I'd call viral.
Then who's lighting the spark? The people responsible for Mikoshiba's murder?
I'll have to go down a few more rabbit holes before I can make that call, I'm afraid.
Gotcha.
That said, some posts are kinda suspicious. This one here, for instance. Ehara totally called the location of the body at his trial. The fact that he did that never really even went public, as far as I could tell.
It was kept off the record?
When Ehara got arrested, the cop-turned-groper story and his
Eu ia parar o
sexual
vídeo aqui, mas
charges
já que estamos em
were
cutscene não dá.
huge news. It was all the media could talk about. But by the time his trial rolled around, the news had already moved on. His guilty verdict barely made a blip.
Fellas, I told you I wanted to be kept in the loop on this stuff. You saying Mikoshiba had more than one killer? And where are they now? You think these lunatics are still hanging around Ijincho?
It's been over 2 months already, man. If they were here, they're probably long gone by now. Another peaceful day in a Jincho, right?
Caralho.
Check outside.
Isso outra vez?
It's the Leomon. The white mask again.
Let's go, Chuck.
O língua?
I'll catch you later.
Not bad.
You're not getting away this time!
Guy.
Hold up!
Ooh, so close. Try to keep up.
Falhei.
Hold up!
Too slow.
You won't get away!
That's all you got. Ooh, so close.
Hold up!
Too slow.
Fuck.
You won't get away!
So close.
Raiva.
Hold up!
Try to keep up.
You won't get away!
That's all you got. Try to keep up.
Hold up!
Too slow. That's all you got.
You won't get away! Gotcha.
Oh. Armadilha, claro.
Oh, great. Where am I? You lure me here?
Don't worry, man. I'm not planning on killing you tonight.
Okay, but why else would you take off the mask?
Because from this point forward, Ijincho is closed. You won't be coming back.
Wolverine?
I'm Tesso. For what it's worth, I'm an officer candidate of the Yokohama Leomon.
Tesso.
I hear you took out some of my masked boys the other day.
Oh, you mean those guys who thought they could sneak up on me in the afternoon?
Maybe if you hadn't resisted at the time, you'd be in a lot less pain than you're about to be in the near future.
Who's paying you to try to take me down?
This is a job that came down from the top of the org. I don't know who hired us, and to be honest, I don't give a shit either. But ripping up a kick-ass detective like you sure sounds like a good time. None of you guys make a move!
Vamos só passar esta parte e lutamos e... Ficamos por aqui, pessoal. Um abraço a todos, até o próximo vídeo. Subscrevam o canal e ativem o sininho para não perder vídeos desta série e outras coisas. Um abraço a todos, fui.